Hello, I'm Chris Voigt, Vice President of Practice Management at Xigent, here to talk today about our cyber recovery as a service architecture. Now, we at Xigent have historically been a large disaster recovery as a service provider, serving clients both in the United States and across the globe. We built an architecture built around protecting against logical and physical and human-oriented disasters originating in a client's on-premise environment. We protected against those with a hybrid services architecture that delivered RPO and RTO that was exceptionally low and a validated and tested architecture that our clients could trust. But over the last few years, we've come to look at the wider market and see the extent and ever-increasing threat of cyber resiliency and cyber recovery issues being a larger challenge for our clients than traditional disaster recovery challenges were. So we reimagined this architecture. We took a look at what we were historically providing. We added enhancements around security and cyber recovery and resiliency posturing that have brought this a new set of capabilities to our clients and moved this architecture forward. So today I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about what those changes are, why we initially envisioned this out there in the market, and what value it's driving for us and for our clients moving forward. So first, I'll talk a little bit about what we needed to maintain. When we sat down and envisioned how this new set of capabilities was going to be rolled into our traditional disaster recovery tool set, we said any cyber recovery or cyber resiliency add-ons needed to maintain similar RPOs and RTOs to our historical solution. I couldn't go out to a client and say, I'm going to deliver disaster recovery within minutes or hours, but cyber recovery is going to take days or weeks. And similar on-premise solutions, we're telling clients the same story. I couldn't bring that set of capabilities to market with RPOs and RTOs not being similar to what we were historically able to deliver. Similarly, what we noticed, unfortunately, when interacting with clients who had gone through or assisting clients in recovery from cyber events is independent execution is critical. Often those clients had insurance companies or governmental entities dictating how they recovered their on-premise infrastructure. So it was critical for us to be able to deliver a capability that was completely segregated from the on-premise client environment and that we could facilitate independent recovery and business continuity around without that governmental or insurance company dictating how quickly that recovery could occur. Lastly, we wanted the service to be both executable for disaster recovery workloads and cyber recovery workloads. So we developed a process that has independent runbooks and execution paths for each of those services. It's all wrapped under one single umbrella and one global service. But if a client comes to us and says, we want you to recover our infrastructure as quickly as humanly possible, we can absolutely do that within minutes and have runbooks facilitating that speedy recovery. In the event that they say, we want to go low and slow, validate health and wellness of these workloads before we propagate them to our wider infrastructure, we can do that as well. So it was critical for us to ensure both those capabilities were present in this solution. So let's talk through what this architecture possesses. So first, as we move left to right across this architectural diagram, we have our compromised client production environment oriented in this red box here. And then the rest of the diagram is articulating what Xigent structures are brought into place to facilitate that cyber recovery. So first and foremost, we've got our border gateway firewalling, where we're doing basic packet inspection across everything that goes into our environment. We then land in a dedicated client firewall. Each of our clients has an independent virtual firewall that maintains independent configuration, network connectivity for that client specifically to ensure secure multi-tenancy across our environment. From there, we maintain an isolated management plane, and each of these different boxes and bubbles is independently network isolated, which is an exceptionally important component of our cyber recovery architecture. We don't want the various pieces talking to each other. We want them to be independent and independently operating. So we run things in that isolated management plane that might facilitate either a quick disaster recovery capability or that are necessary for operation of workloads that don't like to be segregated from a client production environment. Things like AD and DNS, any PAM, any database workloads, anything that requires kind of continuous replication or interactivity, we keep there segregated in a way that allows those applications to operate appropriately and be used or not used as part of a DR or CR workflow. So Down as we get into the individual cyber recovery components, the first thing we have that's exceptionally important is inspection, analytics, and alerting facilitated by the VM replication toolset that we're using. So we're doing both entropy and known malware pattern detection to ensure that workload or data that's written within this recovery environment is known good, and anything that appears suspicious is flagged as so that we don't recover to those recovery points. Now, the tool we use has DVRS capability, so we've got very granular ability to recover back to the appropriate point that either the client dictates or that inspection and alerting is saying is appropriate. And that's the first stage, right? Passing through that inspection layer. From there, we're writing to an isolated vault that's enterprise storage oriented. It's high speed. It's where the primary recovery points land. From there, we have a secondary air-gapped vault. That's where we're keeping long-term retention, and it's physically air-gapped from the remainder of the environment to ensure that even if anything is written to that environment that shouldn't be, we have those secondary recovery points that are completely isolated to pull back from. From there, we've got a staging and testing environment, and this is exceptionally important to us. We want to be able to test the client's environment. We want to be able to validate health, wellness, and validity of the data before we bring those data structures and expose them to a wider client environment, or even connect them back to an on-premise environment as appropriate. So we do all our biannual testing that we engage with on our clients, both from a DR and CR perspective in that bubble. And in the event of a cyber recovery or declared cyber recovery event, we go through and use that bubble to ensure the health of the data prior to propagating it, as I referenced earlier. Lastly, we have the recovery environment. That's when workloads are blessed known good. It's again segregated from the remainder of the environment. That's where we propagate or instantiate the production infrastructure after we're able to recover and validate the health of it. And from there, we're either facilitating access for end users and applications via business continuity planning that we've established with our client, or in the event that that production environment has been blown away or blessed good and we need to reverse and resync replication, we would poke holes in that recovery environment and facilitate that connection back to the client's production site. So again, the differentiated value that this solution is providing from an architectural perspective is network isolation. It's immutability and air gapping injected at every layer of this architecture. It's in-flight inspection and detection from an alerting and reporting and malware detection perspective. It's that isolated management domain to ensure that appropriate tooling maintains its interactivity with the client environment as appropriate. And then lastly, we've got isolated testing environment and isolated recovery environment segregated from everything else. So we're really excited to bring this architecture to market. We've been operating for several years with our cyber recovery service, and it's been exceptionally valuable for us and our clients. So if you would like to talk with us more, we'd be happy to get together with you.